So before I begin, I would like to express a disclaimer first that all the views that I will be expressing in this particular session will be personal in nature and in no way that represent the views of the government or the view of the department. I'm only attending this particular session because a lot of queries have been coming up regarding filling out the DAF. So first of all, I would like to tell you that DAF is something which is crucial for you to lead the interviewer. See, this is a personality test and not an interview. So it is not a test of your knowledge, it is a test of your personality. They will be going through your personality through certain factors or certain answers that you will be giving it through your interview. Some of them may be rating you on your honesty, some of them will be rating you on your confidence. But believe me, when I say that none of them, or knowledge though is a part of your personality, but none of them will be solely focusing on your knowledge alone. So even if you answer all the questions with accurate whatever they are asking for, even after that you cannot say for sure that your interview has gone very well. But if there is any opinion based question that has been asked to you, or if there is something which has been specifically asked out of your personality and you have answered very well, then you can say that your interview went well. So the first thing which you have to focus is this is not an interview, this is a personality test. So they will be testing you through the questions. Through the questions, maybe they will ask you, okay, if you are belonging to UP and you have worked in, say, Bangalore, they might be asking you, okay, since you have lived in the UP and you have went to Bangalore, so what are the changes that you have seen? So they are not focusing on whether you know about Bangalore as a geographical history of Bangalore and geographical history of, say, Lucknow. What they will be focusing upon is what is your personal experiences with Bangalore or vis-a-vis with Lucknow. So the way you will answer those questions will decide what are the marks that you will be fetching. It is not the accuracy, but the way you are defining or deciding that particular answer. So first thing is you have to focus upon this is a personality test. The second thing is be honest. Whatever it is, just write it honestly in the DAF. If you have a hobby, write it. No matter how foolish it sounds, just write it. If you have an achievement, write it. If you do not have any significant achievement to show, do not write it. तो इस रेस में मत रहिएगा कि I have to write something in my achievement only, then I'll be fetching marks. No. अगर आपको लगता है कि if there is some significant achievement from your work or from your college or from your school, which is significant enough to be mentioned, तो लिखिएगा केवल. Do not write कि मैंने अपना क्लास 3rd में मॉनिटर था, क्लास 5th में मॉनिटर था, मैं हाउस कैप्टन था. These are something which if you feel that they are significant enough and have molded your life, then you can say mention them in your DAF. I'm not saying कि you should not mention that, but they should have some significant impact. अगर आप लिखते हैं, for example, कि मैं हाउस कैप्टन था, ब्लू हाउस कैप्टन था in my class 12th, and you feel that that had some impact in your life, you have had some learning from that particular position or achievement, you can mention it. Because everything that you will mention in DAF will lead you or will lead the interviewer to ask question from you. इसी तरह से, Soumya, I guess I have suggested you in the morning कि in case you already know that you are not there fit for a particular service, or you are not there having the minimum qualification as required specifically in a particular service, and you want to opt out of it, that is okay. Opt out. There's no
yes, sir.
Okay, so if you are not willing to go for IPS, if you are not willing to go for any uniform services, you want to opt out, be confident, opt out. Okay, it is better to have interview questions ready for you instead of mentioning that IPS somewhere down the list. So, and one thing more, every service has some pros, has some cons. So if I say none of the service is there in the civil service which doesn't have any con, every service will have some pros. They will be featuring, giving you some facilities in exchange for your personal work-life balance or in exchange for the responsibility they expect from you. See, there is nothing called power. It's a myth. Means all the people will say that this service is more powerful, that service is more powerful. They are all responsibilities. We have to understand that these are the responsibilities that you hold while sitting in a chair. So it is not like some service is very powerful and you will get all kind of unaccountable power while sitting in that chair. No, right now, and it is right thing that we are accountable for, as a civil servant, we are accountable for every action that we take. And there's no service in the government of India where you take some step, take some decision, and it doesn't have any wide impact on the society as such. So get this out of your mind कि कौन सी सर्विस अच्छी है, कौन सी सर्विस खराब है. Every service is good enough. Every service has some pros. Every service has some cons. The next thing which I want to highlight is कि, see, DAF is something which is the only document that is available with the interviewer. So it is not like they know you personally. So by the DAF, they start judging. By the DAF and the way you answer, they start judging you. So अब उतना interview harsh नहीं होता है. There was a time when the interview was very harsh, but fortunately UPSC has toned down and now they are taking interviews which is fairly okay. So you do not have to worry कि आपका एकदम pressure test होगा वहाँ पे. आपके जाते ही they will ask you questions which you will not be comfortable to answer. These days they make you comfortable and then they start asking the questions. So start with your DAF. Even if you have filled up the DAF till now, just go through it once again from the eyes of the interviewer. कि अगर वो मेरे से क्वेश्चन पूछेगा, अगर आप अपने आप को जज करना स्टार्ट करेंगे तो where you will start, how you will judge yourself. Is someone who is pass out from a very good IIT or NIT and has gone directly for the preparation, so they might ask कि why you have started with the preparation and not worked anywhere. They might ask कि the very generic question कि why do you want to become a civil servant. They have asked. These are some of the questions which have a high probability to come in the exam interview. These are very generic, जिसको आप पहले से prepare करके जा सकते हैं. For example, if you belong to say Gorakhpur, you should know about Gorakhpur. They expect you to know about Gorakhpur. If your schooling has been done from, suppose Delhi, then they expect you to know about Delhi also. They expect you to know the differences, your opinion of both the cities. If you say, example, you have moved from UP to Gujarat, then they expect you to know about the state-specific opinion that you have about both the states. So be very clear about your opinions. You do not have to give, idealistic answer. If they ask you, what will happen if I make you collector of a particular district and you find that this particular, say, communal right happens, then what you will do? Then you will say a very idealistic answer if you are having in your mind, and that might or that might not work in the field. So when they ask questions from you, they expect you to be practical while grounded with your values or while your ethos. Without compromising your values and ethos, if you can deliver something, that is something which they expect. They do not expect you to go on either ends, means either on the leftist end or on the rightist end. We do not need revolutionists in the government. What we need is someone who can implement. For example, if someone asks you your honest opinion about, say, a few years ago, I'm telling you a live example, that there was an interview which was held with one of the candidates. And in that interview, the interviewer asked, what is your opinion about the present issues in Kashmir? That time, Kashmir was in a lot of turmoil. So unfortunately, that particular aspirant answered, I think Kashmir is like a cancer to India. That it is better to cut off that cancerous cell rather than treating it because no treatment is available. So such kind of extreme view, if you are having, first of all, do not express it and do not have those views altogether. If that you are still having those views while appearing in the interview, there is certainly something wrong. Certainly something wrong with the UPSC, maybe also, and something which is wrong with you also. So first of all, you have to introspect that you should not have such kind of extreme view. I'll give you one more example. One more aspirant has answered that on the corruption, what is your view on the corruption and how you are planning to eradicate it from the society. He said openly, corruption is something which is one of the oldest practices in the human history, and that is something which will never end, no matter what effort you will put in. That might be your view in a pan ki dukan. But the thing is, you should understand that you are sitting in front of the interview board of UPSC. You should not have such kind of extreme views. So in case you still feel that you are having such kind of review, introspect and do not, I repeat, do not speak at least such kind of views in front of the interviewers. And you might feel right now, okay, we do not have such kind of, and we are not that idiot to say it. But the thing is, the pressure at that time is very huge. होता क्या है ना कि how the UPSC takes interview, I'll tell you just in a brief. अगर आप में से किसी ने एक मूवी आई थी अभी, आई एम फॉरगेटिंग द नेम, तो उस मूवी में बहुत अच्छा रेप्लिकेट किया था कि you are first taken to a particular hall where your documents are being checked. After that, they take you to another hall, a common hall, where they make you sit according to your interview board. So every panel, every board will have some 5-6 people in a forenoon session and 5-6 people in an afternoon session. So you will be having gathered in a group of 5-6 people. Maybe if 8 boards are there, so 5-6 multiplied by 8 different seating places will be there. From there, you are taken, called one by one and called up in front of the interview room. वहाँ पे एक लाल बत्ती, घड़ी बत्ती होती है पुराने colonial time की तरह. You have to sit beside the door of that particular room and you are called. तो ये जो period होता है ना, this itself brings up a lot of pressure on your mind. No matter if you are appearing even for the second time, third time, fourth time also, the pressure is always there. So the moment you will reach the interview room, आप वो अपने sane mind में नहीं होते, you are not in the best of your mind. तो आप गलतियां करते हैं, आपका वो जो आधे घंटे पौने घंटे का प्रोसेस होता है, you will start leaking out your entire personality there, and that is the entire objective of UPSC interview. कि आप hide नहीं कर पाएंगे. You might make a mask, you might put up a mask for 5-10 minutes, but उसके बाद आपकी जो असलियत है ना अंदर की, वो बाहर आने लग जाती है. तो बेहतर है कि आप वो असलियत अभी पहचानिए, इंट्रोस्पेक्ट करिए, and in case you feel there is something wrong with your entire thought process, mend it right now itself. आप लोगों से बात करिए, उनका ओपिनियन लीजिए, अपने DAF पे ओपिनियन लीजिए, अपने ऊपर ओपिनियन लीजिए, and try to mend it right now itself, because you will get very little opportunity to mend it there in the interview board. So with this, I'll start with the DAF, actual DAF. See, DAF asks you to put up your entire life till now. तो आपको ये ध्यान रहे कि आप कोई लाइफ का सिग्निफिकेंट एस्पेक्ट उसमें छोड़े ना, और कुछ ओवर एक्साइटमेंट में कुछ ऐसा ना लिखें विच इज आउटराइटली रॉन्ग और इनकरेक्ट और फॉल्स इन योर डेफ, just because it sounds more fancy, just because it sounds more, make you more literate, make you seem to get more knowledgeable. Don't make it like that. The reason is, कुछ लोग लिखते हैं कि हमारी नॉवल रीडिंग हैबिट है, हमारी बुक रीडिंग हैबिट है, और वी प्ले चेस, और वी रीड न्यूज़पेपर. रीडिंग न्यूज़पेपर इज माय हॉबी. See, reading newspaper might be a hobby, that might be a compulsion for you. अब if you are writing book reading मेरी हॉबी है, तो you cannot say कि मेरी जो है लक्ष्मीकांत मैंने पढ़ा, ये मेरी फेवरेट बुक है. That makes no sense in the front of the interview board, and that gives kind of a very childish image. ये बोल क्या रहा है, क्यों बोल रहा है. ऐसे ही अगर आपने चेस लिखा है, देयर वर इंटरव्यू बोर्ड, देयर वर इंस्टेंसेस जिसमें उन्होंने डायरेक्टली स्टार्ट कर दिया गेम. उन्होंने स्टार्ट कर दिया कि भाई पॉन b4. अब देन यू हैव टू आंसर. इफ यू डू नॉट नो कि पॉन b4 है क्या, देन योर इंटरव्यू, द एंटायर इंटरव्यू, आपने भले कितना अच्छा आंसर किया हो, इट गोज डाउन द ड्रेन. So you have to be very careful while filling up the DAF, that you should be honest. See, I'll tell you about me. The hobby which I have mentioned was manga reading. Manga is basically Japanese comics, and I was expecting a question, and I got a question from manga. It might seem very childish hobby. ये क्या कॉमिक्स पढ़ रहा है अभी भी बड़ा होके, यूपीएससी की तैयारी कर रहा है और कॉमिक्स पढ़ रहा है. बट डू यू नो व्हाट वाज द interview question that I got? The interview question I had from the panel was, how do you see the trends in the manga changed after the Second World War? Now, even from your very basic hobby, even from the hobbies which you won't even think in your dreams also, कि इसमें से क्वेश्चन पूछेगा वो इस तरह का, they'll take out questions. They will pick out questions and be very honest in case you have no idea about anything. It is always better to say no than to misguide the interview. So you have to be very careful about answering also. जो आपके दिल में है, जो आप अच्छे से जानते हैं, जो आपको लगता है कि वाकई में ये सच है और ये सही है वही बोलिए. And believe me, if you have reached the interview level, then you already know what is right and what is wrong in the society. You only have to say it proudly, say it with that particular confidence. दूसरी चीज, do not think कि आपकी vocab या फिर आपके fancy English से कोई impress होने वाला है वहाँ पे. No, interview board is not going to check your vocabulary, is not going to check your oratory skill there. Though you should be able to express yourself clearly. अगर आप हिंदी में कंफर्टेबल हैं, एक कॉमन क्वेश्चन होता है कि मैंने इंग्लिश मीडियम भर दिया, मैं हिंदी में वहां पे नहीं बोल सकता. नहीं, इफ यू फील जैसे कि मैं अभी बोल रहा हूँ थोड़ा थोड़ा हिंदी में, इफ यू वांट टू express yourself, if you think you can express yourself better in Hindi, you can speak. You will find the entire board will divert toward Hindi, thinking that you are more comfortable in Hindi. I'm not saying that the moment you go, you start expressing yourself in Hindi. Then they will say कि नहीं, you are not even clear कि which medium of interview you want to take. But in case you feel there is certain expression which is better when it is expressed in your mother tongue, then you can express it better in Hindi. But even if you want to express in other mother tongue also, say in Telugu, Tamil, then you can translate it for them. But it is always better that you better be comfortable there. Speak as you naturally speak. Do not think कि आपकी अच्छी vocabulary से आपके वहाँ पे नंबर मिलेंगे. It is not like that. Third thing is, if you have not done anything, just say it outrightly you haven't done. I'll tell you about me. So I never traveled from an airplane till the time I entered the service. Can you believe one of the interviewer was grilling me in my very first interview? I am talking about, I gave 2 interviews. I got through in my second attempt. So I never gave the examination again. But in my first attempt, what happened? I was asked in the interview, what is the structure that you saw in the T3? T3 was newly built back then. So in the Terminal 3 of Indira Gandhi International Airport, what was the structure that you see? So I said, I have never visited T3. Then he asked, Acha, if you have never visited, what is the type of structure in the Mumbai airport? I said, sir, sorry sir, I have not even been to Mumbai airport. Then he asked, okay, let it be Mumbai or Delhi airport. Just tell me of any airport, the trust kind of a structure, what you do. I am a civil engineer, so they were expecting some kind of an answer for them. But the thing is, I have never seen an airplane grounded anywhere in my entire life till then. So I just said it bluntly to them. Yes, sir, I never sat in any airport. I never sat in the airport, so how can I see the airport? The only time I saw the flights or the planes were when they were in the air. So the question ended there itself. It is not like if I misguide them or if I don't know about them, it is not like I am misguiding. If I don't know about anything and I try to figure it out there itself, then I don't think it will work in the interview. One thing more, even if you want to attempt for a question which you are not clear about, take a cue from them. Just ask from them, ask from the interview board, though I do not know the exact answer, however, if you may allow, I can give a particular try for it, and they will give you a particular attempt for it. So, and they will treat it very nicely also. It is not like they will not take it into consideration. They will treat it nicely. At least you are attempting for it. So right now, when I think back about my first interview, I could have asked that maybe I can attempt for a particular structure if you tell me the type of the structure which is there, which you saw in the airports. But these are all the things that should get you through an interview. That should click you in the interview. वो तब तक नहीं होगा until unless you are being well practiced, you have taken a lot of mocks, and not talking about the mocks in a particular Rajendra Nagar coaching. What I am saying, mock that you have every day, mock that you have with a closer kind of a setting. कि आप उसको एकदम ग्रिल करते रहिए अपने डेफ को कि कहाँ से वो क्वेश्चन पूछ रहे. Form up smaller groups of 3-4 people. Form up smaller groups of serious people who will seriously view your DAF as an interviewer and who will grill you. Do give the mocks. Mocks are very essential because some of the things aspirants they themselves do not know. वो हम जब फर्स्ट पर्सन से बोल रहे होते हैं और जब थर्ड पर्सन के व्यू से देख रहे होते हैं, there's a lot of differences which you will see. I might feel that I'm answering very well, but the thing is my expressions, the way I express, the way I'm speaking might sound something different to any other person who is viewing from the third person. So do take up mocks, but not too much mocks. Matlab 7-8 mocks are okay. Do not go for more. 7-8 mocks that to at max. ऐसा भी नहीं कि आपको 7-8 करने ही करने हैं. Even if you feel comfortable, 2-3 मॉक के बाद it is okay. Even if you feel you are not comfortable, even after 7-8 mocks, go for more mocks. But going for more mocks will not fetch you more. It is something जो कि आप अपने कॉन्फिडेंस बूस्ट करने के लिए करेंगे. और कोई मॉक में अगर कोई आपको बहुत ज्यादा बुरा भला कह देता है तो डू नॉट टेक इट टू योर हार्ट. कि किसी ने बोल दिया कि नहीं ये तो इंटरव्यू लायक नहीं है, किसी ने बोल दिया कि नहीं, दिस काइंड ऑफ नॉलेज यू विल टेक टू इंटरव्यू. These are all the things which have been said to me. I'm not saying कि ये ऐसा होता है, वो नहीं होता है या फिर एक्सट्रीम एंड पे होगा. And people love to say it. The interviewers love to say it because उनको लगता है कि वो बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं अगर आपको बोलें कि you are not fit enough for the interview. And there are people who will give you much more than you will actually deserve in the mock I'm talking about. कि there were people who said to me कि नहीं, this is the 210 candidate. इससे कम तो इसके आएंगे ही नहीं. Even that time also I also used to think कि 210 का तो मैं खुद बंदा नहीं हूँ, मैं तो बोल भी नहीं रहा हूँ ऐसे कि 210 का मुझे मिलने का नंबर. But the thing is, you will find extremities even in the mock interviews also. So you have to identify कि कहाँ पे आपको समझ में आ जाना चाहिए कि इतना ही मेरा मतलब और बेहतर में ये करना है और बाकी सब जो है it is something which is rubbish. But I do not say कि entire mock is rubbish. There are certain very good pointers which are highlighted by a very senior faculty members whenever the mock is having held. So I go to the DAF now. So if you see the DAF, most of the DAF is about your personal details. If I start from the very beginning, it is something which कि आप कहाँ से हैं, which is a mother tongue that you speak. If there is a mother tongue that you speak and you are comfortable with, तो मेंशन दैट. इट इज नॉट नेसेसरी कि आपको हिंदी और इंग्लिश आनी चाहिए. अगर आपको लगता है कहीं और से बिलोंग करते हैं, देखिए दिस मदर टंग माइट नॉट बी सिमिलर टू योर मोड ऑफ इंटरव्यू, मीडियम ऑफ इंटरव्यू, बट इवन आफ्टर दैट इट इज ओके. एड्रेस मैटर नहीं करता है, ज्यादा क्वेश्चन फेच नहीं करते हैं. हाउएवर दिस ओनली फोकस अपॉन कि सिटी कौन सा है आपका, स्टेट कौन सा है. आधार कार्ड, पर्सनल डिटेल्स दे नेवर बॉदर अबाउट. दे माइट अब वो इंटरव्यू लेते लेते जब बोर हो जाते हैं, दे कैन नॉट फाइंड अप मोर क्वेश्चंस, so they might ask questions about Aadhaar. They might find questions about PAN card. Recently there has been a change in the PAN card, so they might ask you your opinion about the particular implementation. If you are sitting at the say implementing agency and implementing officer of that particular PAN rollout, PAN 2.0 rollout, then what are the steps that you will take? Then again, knowing too much of a detail about PAN 2.0 will not fetch you marks. However, how you are going to roll it out, that will fetch you marks. Place of birth, again, that is something which is quite common, and they will be picking out, they will be finding out कि आप कौन से district से belong कर रहे हैं और कौन से state से belong कर रहे हैं. Marital status, they never ask any question about marital status. Then, if in case you have Divyang, then they might ask you about the challenges of Divyangs, some your experiences about Divyang, some of your personal experiences which are drawn from a interaction with the public institutions. Again, this is not something which they focus upon until or unless you have written something into it. Then your personal details, your family details. However, they focus upon your father's profession. This is something which they sometimes ask questions, because then they ask you question in a way that what is your experience, personal experience, when you interacted with the agencies as a common general public. I tell you, see, Vinay Mittal sir, he took my interview and he was from IITS, Traffic Services, and my entire interview was focused on the railway because my father was a railway employee. So there are interviews which might be focused entirely upon this particular segment. And the way he asked the question, I'll narrate it to you in the exact verbatim. It was like, do you think in the Indian Railways, is there anything left to be improved? So that question itself was framed in such a manner कि आप आंसर करेंगे. You cannot say कि नहीं, Indian Railway is the best railway services which can ever be in the history of mankind, and it cannot be improved any further. No one will say it. So that question itself will be a kind of a daunting question where you have to answer. And you have to answer from your personal. It is better to answer from your personal experience. See, everyone will say that Indian Railway should get out of the non-core functions. This is something which is very theoretical. So either you can include your theoretical knowledge into this particular, question, or you can answer from your own experiences. Like I answered, I added first of all, I started with the theoretical, answers which we write typically in a UPSC mains. So I started my answer with it, and then I saw the expressions on the interview board that it was not that kind of a shocking. It was not kind of interested. So I took a 180-degree turn and get onto my personal experience. I said, see, my father was admitted once for his heart surgery. So from the very first instance itself, everyone knew in the entire railway chain, a heart surgery is something which is not done in the Northern India railway hospitals that time. So my father had to first go to, Bareilly. Then Bareilly, he had to be referred to Muradabad. From Muradabad, he had to be referred to Delhi. From Delhi, he had to refer to a private hospital. And on the very first day, it was known that this is something which will be done. But the thing is, why there are so many agencies, so many red tape when a particular person, a patient, is in the need, is in the dire need of that particular, surgery, of that particular hospital, your medical need. So if you can draw something from your personal experience, you mention it. So these are some of the things which you can think about while having this father's profession in your mind. If you are having, say, father's profession as farmer or agriculture, then that is something definitely they will ask. But there is no point to they will not be asking you. There is a high chance that they will ask. They will ask you, what is that you farm? What is that you the crops which you plant? And they expect you to know about it. Then you have to think about, similarly, you have to think about your mother's profession also. Mother is something which you also have to, on as due regard as you have given to the father's profession, you have to give it to your mother also. Family income is something which they do not judge you upon. However, they try to figure out what is the social or say economic background that you are coming from. So people would say कि हम तो यार BA किए हैं, that too from a tier 2 college, and I don't know how they will judge me. It is always, you will always be in a better platform than someone who is a pass out from IIT IIM. You know why? Because the interview board expect you, after getting passed out from the premium colleges, that your interview or your level of interview will be completely different from that particular person who has done BA from a tier 2 college. So they will give leverage to BA person, and they will judge you more because you have a finer educational background. Similarly, all the city and the districts and the states that you are mentioning here, you have to be careful about that. You should be knowing about that particular city, and you should be knowing about the contrast of your personal opinion when you travel to the other cities. Then your educational background, in case, again, I have just highlighted that in case you are a pass out from an Ivy League college or a school, then they expect you to, your interview to go onto that level, and then they expect you to answer to that level also. If you are having an average interview from IIT pass out, then he or she might fetch a lower marks when compared vis-a-vis with the BA MA pass out. The reason is they expect you to perform better. And I'm not degrading any profession. Till now, I believe everyone knows, those who are appearing in the interview, that every profession, every education has their own impact in their contribution in the society, and none of them is bad, none of them is good. The stratification which the society has produced has nothing to do with the actual working in the society, actual contributions in the society. Now, if I say your home state is very relevant when you will be coming into the preferences for the state or cadres. Whether you have been employed, in case you are employed, then they will be asking, certainly there's a huge chance they will be asking you from their own, employment experiences, your knowledge domains into that work experiences. If you are not employed till now, they might ask, though they prefer not to ask, they might ask why you did not took employment even after getting passed out from a professional course. They might even ask you very, generic questions such as, you being an engineer, why you want to become a civil servant. These have been asked from me. So I believe this might be asked from you also. So I have been asked, I'll tell you one more question that has been asked for me. Was that, since you have worked in the IIT, you could have become, how was you in the coding? How were you in the coding? So I said, I was very good in the coding. In fact, I had some 20 plus technology certificates back then. So they asked me, Vinay Mittal sir asked me, see, I'll be ending my interview with a very small question. You could have become the next Narayan Murthy if you would have stayed in the IT industry. Why do you want to become a civil servant? Now, this is something which everyone knows. This is something I know for sure कि आप तैयारी करके जाएंगे. If you are a civil engineer, then definitely they will ask you. If they will ask you, then definitely you would know the answer. कि मैं civil engineering के बाद civil services क्यों करना चाहता हूँ. So this is something which is there already in your heart. अब वो आप रटा रटाया आंसर मत दीजिएगा. Because these are some of the opportunities that you get in the interview to express yourself freely and based on which your personality will be judged. तो रटा रटाया आंसर नहीं देना है. Whatever is truthfully your answer, just say it out loudly. Just say it with that confidence, say it with that pride. This many would differ कि आंसर कैसे देना चाहिए. मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि ऐसा देना चाहिए कि जो आपको लगता है वाकई में जिस रीजन की वजह से आप सिविल सर्विस में आए हैं, नो मैटर हाउ पर्सनल इट इज, यू शुड आंसर इट. अगर किसी का पैसा कमाना एम है, किसी का करप्शन एम है, तो प्लीज आप इंटरव्यू मत दीजिए. द रीजन इज कि देन you have very good avenues right now in the public, in the society, where you can earn well instead of corrupting this entire service. तो करप्शन अगर आपका ऑब्जेक्टिव है तो मत आइए सर्विस में, मैं ये सजेस्ट करूंगा. बट जो भी आपका इसके अलावा पर्सनल ऑब्जेक्टिव है, बोल दीजिए, जो है वो बोलिए. अगर आपको लगता है कि आपके साथ बहुत गलत हुआ था किसी जमाने में और आप चाहते नहीं है कि ऐसा किसी और के साथ में होए आगे जाके, इसलिए आप सर्विस में आना चाहते हैं, it might sound very कि मूवी टाइप का, बॉलीवुड मूवी टाइप का डायलॉग है, बट इफ इट इज ट्रू, राइट, say it. Then how many attempts you have given into the civil service prior to this particular interview doesn't matter. आपने 10 दिए हो, 20 दिए हो, it doesn't matter at all. The reason is कि what matters is your current interview and it doesn't matter कि इससे पहले आपने कितना क्या दिया है. आप बहुत सारे लोग कहेंगे कि मेरा 6th अटेम्प्ट है, मेरा 5th अटेम्प्ट है. They might ask you कि आप 5th अटेम्प्ट आपने दे रहे हैं और आप क्यों इसमें रुके हुए हैं. They might ask you, but that doesn't mean that they are judging you because you have given more interviews or more attempts into this particular examination. It doesn't matter. I have seen, in fact, Vinay was also a witness to it. We have seen together people getting through on the last attempt also, and we have seen people getting through on the very first interview also. So it all matters कि आप वहां पे कैसे जवाब दे रहे हैं. It doesn't matter कि आपने कितने इंटरव्यू, कितने अटेम्प्ट, कितने क्या दिए, कौन से लेवल तक दिए. इसके बाद यू हैव अ प्राइज मेडल स्कॉलरशिप काइंड ऑफ अ सेक्शन. आप इसमें देखेंगे तो आपको वो प्राइजेस लिखने हैं जिसका, मैंने फिर से बोला, जिसमें आपका पर्टिकुलर इम्पैक्ट हुआ हो लाइफ में. अगर आप कॉलेज पेट्रियोटिक सॉन्ग के बारे में लिख रहे हैं एंड यू फील दैट इट हैड सम इम्पैक्ट इनटू योर लाइफ, बी रेडी टू आंसर दैट वंस इट विल कम. अगेन आई एम सेइंग कि टू मेंशन द थिंग्स व्हिच यू फील हैव सिग्निफिकेंट इम्पैक्ट इन योर लाइफ. केवल इसलिए नहीं कि वो मिला है. आप हाउस कैप्टन थे ब्लू हाउस के, अगर आपको लगता है बहुत बड़ा इम्पैक्ट है उसका आपकी लाइफ में, कि आपने कुछ ऐसा देख लिया है जिसकी वजह से आप कुछ बहुत आगे पर्सनैलिटी मोल्ड करके, मेंशन इट. एक्स्ट्रा करिकुलर एक्टिविटी में रिमेंबर कि जब तक आप खुद कुछ नहीं करेंगे तब तक वहां पे मेंशन मत करिएगा. इफ यू आर राइटिंग, सिंगिंग, देन देयर इज अ हाई चांस दे माइट आस्क यू कि व्हाट टाइप ऑफ सिंगिंग, क्लासिकल म्यूजिक, अगर आपने क्लासिकल म्यूजिक बोल दिया वहां पे तो दे विल आस्क यू क्वेश्चन फ्रॉम द क्लासिकल म्यूजिक। अगर क्लासिकल म्यूजिक बोल दिया वहां पे तो दे माइट आस्क यू कि राग आप सुना दीजिए, कोई तराना आपको बोलेंगे तराना बताइए। इन केस यू आर राइटिंग कि नहीं बॉलीवुड म्यूजिक का गाने गाता हूँ, तो इट इज नॉट लाइक कि दे विल see you with a lesser eye. No, they will ask you question specific to your, singing hobby. So whatever you are writing here, just be ready कि उसमें से काफी हाई प्रोबेबिलिटी होती है कि आपसे पूछे जाएंगे क्वेश्चन। They will not ask you to sing. They might, मतलब depending upon their mood, they might ask you कि चलो गाना गा दो। लेकिन but there's a high chance they will expect you to know that you are not blindly saying it कि just for the sake of saying कि singing मेरी हॉबी है। ऐसी in case you have any distinction in the leadership position or any significant position that you held throughout your life till now, तो बी रेडी कि इसका इम्पैक्ट क्या पड़ा है। अल्टीमेटली आपको जो है ना पर्सनैलिटी के बारे में अपने शोकेस करना है। यू आर लाइक अ प्रोडक्ट देयर, ठीक है ना, एंड यू आर समवन विद मार्केटिंग फॉर योरसेल्फ। तो वो प्रोडक्ट जो है पर्सनैलिटी के बेसिस पे आपको यहाँ पे अगर मार्केट कर सकें तो वो करते हैं। अब इसके बाद मैं आता हूँ सीधे आपके सर्विस प्रेफरेंसेस पे। इसके बाद आपके सर्विस प्रेफरेंसेस है, कार्डर प्रेफरेंसेस है, और आपका बेसिक जो पर्सनल इंफॉर्मेशन वगैरह आपकी देनी है वो तो दैट इज समथिंग व्हिच इज नॉर्मल। डैफ में मेजरली ये कवर होता है। अब आपका आखिरी क्वेश्चन जो होगा डैफ में वो होगा सर्विस प्रेफरेंसेस और कार्डर प्रेफरेंसेस का। तो एज आई हैव ऑलरेडी टोल्ड यू, सर्विस every service has some pros, has some cons. There is no service कि जहाँ पे आप कहेंगे कि ये बेस्ट सर्विस है। That is the reason कि आपकी प्रायोरिटीज के बेसिस पे आपकी जो प्रेफरेंसेस है वो डिफरेंट हो सकती है एज कम्पेयर टू अदर स्टूडेंट्स। हाँ, आप मान सकते हैं कुछ एक कॉमन ड्राफ्ट जो है वो होना चाहिए। दैट आई आल्सो डू एक्सेप्ट कि हमारे टाइम पे हम भी नहीं जानते थे इतने सर्विसेज के बारे में, तो एक कॉमन ड्राफ्ट मिल जाता था, उसको कॉपी पेस्ट कर लेते थे कि अच्छा मेरे दोस्त ने ये भरा है, काफी देख देख के भरा है तो उसने सही भरा होगा। तो स्टार्टिंग के 5-6 सर्विस के बाद उसको हम वैसे ही ABCD के ऑर्डर पे, अल्फाबेटिकल या फिर उसके प्रेफरेंस के ऑर्डर पे अपने से भर देते थे, या फिर जो मन आया उसको भर देते थे। बट द थिंग इज कि चूंकि आपको अलॉटमेंट जो होता है ना, आपकी जरूरी नहीं कि 5-6 सर्विसेज के बेसिस पे ही आपका अलॉटमेंट हो। तो आपको सर्विस प्रेफरेंसेस भरते वक्त अपने पर्सनल प्रेफरेंसेस पता होने चाहिए कि मैं सर्विस में जा क्यों रहा हूँ। मैं ज्यादा पावर के लिए जा रहा हूँ या अच्छी वर्क लाइफ बैलेंस के लिए जा रहा हूँ। मैं बड़े सिटीज में रहना चाहता हूँ कि छोटे सिटीज में मेरी पोस्टिंग के लिए ठीक है। एंड आई टेल यू, अभी क्या होता है ना कि हमारे अंदर बहुत एनर्जी होती है जब हम जा रहे होते हैं सर्विसेज में, बट वंस यू एंटर द सर्विस एंड वंस यू स्पेंड 20-25 years in the service, everything matters. Your promotion matters, your place of posting matters, your work life balance matters, your pressure in the job matters. तो वो बाल सफेद कर लेना 30 साल की उम्र में हर एक सर्विस में, आई एम टेलिंग यू देयर आर सम प्रोस, देयर आर सम कॉन्स। सो बेस्ड ऑन द सर्विस आई विल बी शेयरिंग यू विद द पर्टिकुलर डॉक्यूमेंट